Okay, I'm gonna start my tutorial to make the suspension on this car here. We're gonna use a suspension that I think was originally made by Carbine. It's a very simple suspension, low lag, it's very simple, but the actual way to do it is not entirely intuitive to a newer player. A lot of you might already know how to make this type of suspension, but that's why this video isn't for you. But people who don't know how, I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible and teach you why we're doing everything. There's other tutorials on how to do this, but they just kind of, they're like 1 minute long and they don't actually really teach you anything about how everything works. So I'm going to try to do that to the best of my ability and hopefully get this to work right off. Anyway, let's just show you how the car works. It's, the suspension might be a little hard, and we've got realistic steering. That's going to be part of it. We're going to teach you how to do the expression for that, which is very easy. If you wanted to use gates, you probably could, but the expression's really easier once you understand just the basic syntax. And anyway, we should probably get started. This is very important with advanced ball sockets, which advanced ball sockets will not work correctly unless they are spawned at the correct angles, depending on what angle you use in it. So I recommend you do this on flat grass if you don't really know how advanced ball sockets work, because flat grass, the spawn faces the direction that we need to build the car and spawn the car. So if you don't want to do it on flat grass, just spawn a prop going the long way of the spawn, like this way, and then dupe it, and then paste it on another level, and then you'll know which direction you need to be facing. For this tutorial, we're going to need the wire tool and easy precision, I guess, but easy precision you're going to want, if you don't have PHX3 downloaded, you're going to want the 0.95 version of easy precision. If you go to garysmod.org, there's two versions, I believe. One is 0.9a, which does not have the best features. It's missing a lot of stuff. It's an older version. And there's 0.95, which is the same one that came with PHX3 before it came with Gary's Mod. So you're going to want to go get 0.95 and have that one in your add-ons folder, because that's got a lot of extremely useful features that the 0.98 does not have. Anyway, let's get started. First I'm going to spawn, I believe, this 0.05 by 3 by 0.25, though you can use whatever prop you want as long as it's similar to this one, long ways, or you could even like weld things on top. You'll see what I'm talking about soon, but I'm going to trust you to figure that out on your own. Then we're going to weight this thing right now, because weights are very important on this, because the way the elastics work is weights basically represent strength on hydraulics, thrusters, anything in Gary's Mod. Weight is the key to its strength. So if we were to add all the elastics and stuff, then change the weight of one of these props, it would screw everything up. So we're going to make sure everything's weighted the correct way from the beginning. Anyway, my main body is going to be weighted 300. Which, if you're going to make it weigh more or less than that, you're going to have to adjust your wheel weight and such, just to kind of correspond with that, but you'll have to test it. The wheels can usually weigh quite a bit less than, like my total wheel weight is 200, it weighs 2/3 what the chassis weighs, because each wheel weighs 50, but I usually use weights kind of balanced like that, but you'll have to experiment just a bit. Make some horizontal tearing, that's kind of weird. Okay. Then I'm going to pull out my transportation props. That prop was in general construction props, by the way. And I'm going to grab the 30 wheel, which I believe is the smallest racing wheel. It's called Race Wheel 30. And then we're just going to place this. In here like this. I'm just putting them straight because I used to play when everyone used easy weld and that was important. I don't know if it is anymore. So there's our 4 wheels. We're not going to change the weights on the wheels yet because we're going to have to use stacker tool, which is going to spawn a new prop. Then we're going to pull out easy precision. We're going to make sure that no collide targets is unchecked, freeze target is checked, and then have move first prop to second because we don't need constraints yet. And then we're just going to grab each prop and stick them to the thing right there. We're just moving the props. They're not welding or anything. I'm going to put it 2 from the inside, or 2 from the outside. I have default smart snap options on each of the 4 places where we want the wheel laterally on the car. Okay, now that those are stuck on there, we need to get them to here and then a little bit down. So to pull them out, we're going to go back into Easy Precision and use the nudge function of it, which is one of the most useful things you'll ever use if you want to build anything, pretty much. Nudge function works. Make sure nudge's percent of prop is unchecked for now. We're not going to use that. And then we're going to nudge it by 15, which means that if we nudge it by 15, we need to pull it out by 15, so that's 15 Gary's Mod units. To pull, we use the reload key, and to push, we use right click. So we're going to pull it out by 15. Okay, anyway, now that we pulled these props out by 15, we need to stack them down, because they're just a little bit down, since we can't just pull them down, because these are circles, the polygons on the thing. There's like a whole bunch, so it'll just pull it at a random angle and stuff. You can't really pull it straight down. We're going to have to use our stacker tool to stack it down. But if it was a square prop, you could just use, you could just pull it wherever you want. Stacker tool is almost obsolete for that purpose now with Easy Precision. Anyway, we're going to want to pull it down. We're just going to want freeze props checked, no weld props, and no collide props to save constraints. And then we're going to want to stack relative to world. And we're going to want to stack it down, and then make sure everything's 0 except offset Z up down, which we want to be 25. So basically we're going to be stacking it straight down, but then we're going to move it up by 25, which is going to put it just a little bit lower than it is right now. Yep. And then we're just going to go ahead and we're going to remove the top wheel. Make sure you don't remove your base plate, which is what this is, your center of your whole contraption. Okay, now the wheels are where they're supposed to be, so now we can weight the wheels, which I believe they're weight 50, so we're just going to pull out our weight tool, put in 50, oops, okay, 50 for all 4 wheels. Okay, now we'll add in the rigid ropes which support the wheels. We are going to pull out our rope tool. We'll just go ahead and set rope width to 2, though it doesn't matter that much, and then set rigid, make sure that rigid is checked. So we're going to grab the middle of each wheel and then stick a rope to the chassis. It's right on the 4 from the inside. Or 4, it's 4 apart. It doesn't even matter where you put them. You can put them like across the car, just so long as they're on the same level so the thing will move up and down. It's just simple mechanics. Anyway, here we go. And then we're just going to go ahead and do that to all 4 wheels. I'm pretty slow at roping because I don't use any of the weird right-click stuff, but, you know, that's just how it is. There we go. And then we're going to take out our rigid, we're going to uncheck the rigid marker in the rope tool, and you can make these invisible if you want, which you just set rope width to 0 to make it invisible, but we're not going to do that right now. And make sure rigid is not checked, and then we're going to take a rope from the center of the wheel and put it to the top of the base plate. For all 4 wheels once again. Okay. So basically with these ropes, why these ropes are not rigid is because these are just going to keep the wheels from falling down. So the wheels are going to, if we did not have a rope there, they'd be able to spin all around, but with the rope there, they'll just stop at this place because the rope is basically suspending them up there. Okay, now we're going to add the actual suspension part, which is an elastic. The elastic is going to have a constant value of 20,000 and a damping of 600, and then relative damping I'll just have set to 0 because I don't really understand that very much. But you can edit this to your own standards. Your constant's going to be your actual hardness, like stiffness of the suspension, and you might have to adjust that based on weights and various other things, but you'll have to figure it out. And then dampening is the amount that it dampens, so like it'll like just keep on slinging back and forth with like a whole bunch of energy. Like if it has a really low dampening and a higher one, it's just going to have it. So that's basically your actual springiness amount. Relative dampening, I believe, just has to do with like how much the thing weighs, and I don't know. You'll figure that out if you want to use that. Anyway, I'm going to stick a elastic in the exact same place we just put that non-rigid rope. So I'm going to stick it right to the center of the wheel and to the top of the chassis. Maybe the top of the base plate. There we go. And then we have to stick on our ball socket advanced. We're going to go into ball socket. We're going to grab the wheels setting, which you will not have, so you're going to have to make the wheels setting. So basically, since this is facing this direction on the spawn, this is X going around this way. So we're going to set X to negative 180 and 180, so these wheels will spin 360 degrees. Then set the other two values, other than friction and stuff, to, I mean, you know, if you want friction, just figure it out. But set both the other values to negative 0.1, 0.1, because I found if you use 0, it sometimes spazzes, and that'll just completely restrict all other movements. They'll only rotate. And then make sure free movement is checked, and no collide does not need to be checked. Do not, in fact, don't check no collide. And then we'll just go ahead and we'll grab the wheels, and we will ball socket them all to the center prop. And that is how the suspension works. But I'll show you how to do steering and stuff in just a moment. See, that's our suspension right there. That's what you do. Anyway, I suppose I'll make another part to the tutorial on how to do steering and such, because I'm sure some people are watching this just to learn how to do the suspension in on itself, which is now taught. So that's how you do it. The next part, I'll show you how to do the wiring and this steering anchor, how to do the steering, how to wire it up, everything like that, all the expression, you know, thrusters, whatever. We'll do all that on the next part. So I'll put an annotation here somewhere, and I'll see you then.